Hello everyone. A skinny dog was making his way down a dusty village road. His ribs showed through his short brown fur. The sun was brutal and the dust clung to his dry nose. He had not eaten anything real for 2 whole days. His paws were sore and his tail hung low. He sniffed at a pile of rotting vegetable peels. Nothing was worth chewing on. He was just about to give up and find some shade. That was when his nose caught something different. Something rich and warm drifted on the hot wind. It was the smell of cooked meat. His tired legs found new strength. He followed the smell past a blacksmith shop and a row of empty carts. Near a stall selling roasted chicken, a commotion had just happened. A merchant was yelling at a clumsy boy. The boy had dropped a large piece of boiled beef onto the dirt. The merchant kicked the meat aside in anger. It rolled under a wooden bench and sat there in the dust. No human wanted it anymore. The dog's eyes locked onto the prize. His heart started beating faster. He crept low to the ground. He moved like a shadow between the legs of the crowd. He did not want to be seen by the angry merchant. He reached the bench and snatched the meat with a quick snap of his jaws. It was heavier than he expected. It was a glorious piece of beef. Salty juice and grit from the ground mixed on his tongue. He did not care about the dirt. He ran. He ran away from the market as fast as his skinny legs would carry him. Behind him, he heard another dog barking. It was a bigger dog who had also smelled the meat. The skinny dog did not look back. He ducked through a broken fence and sprinted toward the tall grass. He kept running until the sounds of the village faded away. He found himself near the edge of a wide river. The riverbank was soft with mud and reeds. He was panting hard, but he would not let go of the beef. His jaw muscles ached. He needed a place where he could eat without being disturbed. He spotted an old wooden bridge upstream. It was the kind of bridge that swayed when the wind blew. It had missing planks and ropes that creaked like old bones. But it was quiet. No people were crossing it. He padded softly onto the wood. The river ran smooth and quiet underneath. It was so clear he could see the stones at the bottom. He walked out to the very middle of the bridge. This was the perfect spot. Safe from the bigger dog. Safe from the yelling merchant. He set the meat down between his front paws to rest his jaw. He was just about to take the first real bite. He lowered his head toward the beef. But before his teeth could sink in, a flicker of movement below stopped him. He glanced over the edge of a wooden plank. There was a dog down there. It was looking right back at him. And that dog had a piece of meat too. His own meat lay warm under his nose, but his mind was already traveling away from it. He stared hard at the water. The other dog was staring just as hard. He tilted his head to the left. The other dog tilted its head to the left. He pricked his ears forward. The other dog did the exact same thing. He did not understand water or mirrors or reflections. He only understood that another mouth had food. And that food looked bigger than his own. The angle of the sun and the ripple of the water made the image of the beef seem swollen and extra juicy. A low whine escaped his throat. It was not a whine of fear. It was the sound of wanting. He could have just eaten. His stomach was screaming at him to eat. The real beef was right there between his toes. It had the scent of smoke and salt. It was real and it was his. But the image in the water was like a spell. He wanted what that dog had. He wanted his share in that share. He leaned his head further down toward the river. The dog in the water leaned up toward him. They were almost nose to nose. The real beef was slipping forward. It was right on the edge of his paw. He decided to scare the stranger away first. Then he would climb down to the water and take the second piece of meat. He would have a feast. He would sleep with a full belly for the first time in a week. This thought filled him with a hot surge of greed. He opened his mouth wide. He wanted to let out a fierce bark that echoed off the hills. He wanted to show the other dog who was boss of this bridge. His jaws parted. His teeth glistened in the afternoon light. But no bark came out. As his lower jaw dropped open, his own precious beef tipped over the edge. He felt the weight leave his paws instantly. He snapped his head down, but it was too late. He saw the brown chunk of meat tumble through the air. It hit the surface of the river with a loud smack. The perfect reflection shattered into a mess of ripples and foam. The other dog vanished as if it had never been there. Only the meat sank. It sank down past the clear water. It settled on the stones at the bottom of the river. It lay there looking smaller now. Smaller and unreachable. The dog stared down in utter confusion. He pawed at the wooden planks of the bridge. He whined loudly now. A real whine of loss. He could see the meat sitting on the riverbed. It was only a few feet away, but it might as well have been on the moon. He looked to the left and right. He was alone. There was no other dog. Only the sound of the river gurgling past the bridge posts. He understood nothing about optics or science. He only knew he had been tricked by something that was not real. And because he wanted something that did not exist, he lost the thing that did exist. He sat back on his hind legs. His empty stomach growled so loud it sounded like thunder in the quiet afternoon. He licked his lips. They tasted only of dust and regret. He looked up at the sky and then back down at the water. Now he could see his own sad face clearly. Just a tired, skinny dog with nothing. He had been so close to being full. So close to being happy. He lay down on the worn wood of the bridge. He put his head on his paws and watched the water flow by. The sun began to sink lower. The golden light turned orange and then soft purple. He stayed there for a long time just thinking. Or at least what a dog does that feels like thinking. He felt the hollow ache inside him. Eventually, the cold evening breeze made him shiver. He stood up and stretched his stiff legs. There was nothing left to do but walk home. His walk was slower now. Much slower than when he had the beef in his mouth. Stories like this are not just about dogs and bridges. They are little windows into our own heads. We do this more often than we realize. We have a good thing sitting right in front of us. A warm meal. A kind friend. A quiet moment of rest. But then we look at a screen or look at a neighbor and we see a shinier version. We see a reflection of someone else's life. And we think that if we just reach a little further, we can have both. We can have our life and that life too. But the truth is hard like the stones at the bottom of the river. When you open your mouth to bark for more, you often drop what you already have. And what you already have is usually enough. It is more than enough. It is real. The reflection is just light. It cannot fill your belly. It cannot keep you warm at night. I want you to remember 2 words from this walk with the dog. Reflection. That is the image you see staring back at you from a calm surface. It looks real, but you cannot touch it. Greed. That is the hungry feeling that makes you forget the treasure already in your paws. They are simple words, but they hold a heavy lesson. Take a look at what you have right now. Hold it tight. Take a bite out of it and enjoy the real taste. Thanks for listening to this old tale. I hope your belly and your heart both feel a little more full tonight. Keep your eyes on what is true. And I will see you down the road in the next story.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。